Hey, what's up? My name's Aaron Kirsten. I'm the mountain bike product manager here at Marin Bikes. So when designing the Geos of the Mountain Vision, we really wanted a bike that was very responsible on the trail, climbed extremely well, but was once again confident on the higher speeds. It's kind of taking the best of both worlds from cross country and enduro. The Mountain Vision features a 67.5-degree head tube angle. It still has a nice short chain stays to make it very agile when climbing up switchbacks or descending through more technical sections, but it's still not going to be too fidgety when you're on the higher speed sections. So it really gives the bike a really balanced feel.
The Mountain Vision features our unique Isotrack suspension platform. Taking what we've learned over the past 30 years about suspension design, Isotrack eliminates the need for a rear stay-mounted pivot. This not only reduces weight and maintenance, but through minimal flex in the rear stays, the bike has great small bump compliance and a plush, linear feel throughout the travel. As with all Marin full suspension mountain bikes, we work with our suppliers to create custom shock tunes that pair perfectly with our suspension designs. This reduces the need to tinker with your bike before going out, so you know your bike's dialed before every single ride. The Mountain Vision frame features removable cable guides and a custom replaceable down tube protector. Our custom protector offers the unique ability to run your cables semi-integrated through cable ports in the top and bottom of the protector. The feedback we received from our test riders who are riding in mucky conditions was that they prefer this when they have to replace their derailleur housings frequently. The bash guard still provides the protection over the cables, but allows for quick and easy swapping, giving you the choice of running fully internal through our 4-in-1 cable port or semi-integrated down the downside of our down tube. We spent a lot of time working with our engineers and frame vendors to ensure we're maximizing specific ride characteristics in the frame, which result in reduced weight and optimized strength. Through our unique monocoque carbon frame construction, we're able to place specific weaves of carbon in key areas to enhance the frame design. This attention to detail results in a very well-balanced ride feel and is especially crucial with our Isotrack suspension platform. Since this design utilizes flexing stays, you gain the benefit of the frame providing a small amount of spring, bettering the pedaling platform so you can spend more time focusing on beating that personal Strava time rather than feeling bonked at the top of the mountain. Our frame also uses a chainstay mounted disc brake, which keeps the caliper tucked away from harm and reduces the likelihood of brake squeal. Additionally, we use Shimano's 142 by 12mm through-axle system. As we talked about before, our carbon mountain bikes utilize our innovative 4-in-1 internal cable routing port, creating a central routing point that keeps your cables nice and tidy. On our alloy and carbon versions of our Mountain Vision and Rift Zone, we feature our unique Isotrack suspension platform. Taking what we've learned over the past 30 years about suspension design, Isotrack eliminates the need for a rear stay-mounted pivot. This not only reduces weight and maintenance, but through minimal flex in the rear stays, the bike has great small bump compliance and a plush, linear feel throughout the travel. The biggest misconception about Isotrack is that it's just a traditional single pivot design. While there is no rear pivot, it still performs as if there is through the flexing in the stays. For our alloy versions of the Mountain Vision and Rift Zone, we spent countless hours engineering an Isotrack design that reduces the total amount of flex on the stays, but still maintains the same ride characteristic as our carbon version. Through a custom suspension link, 3D forged dropouts and BB yoke, as well as a uniquely hydroform and butted rear triangle tubing, we've accomplished just that. It's an alloy bike that rides just like the carbon, allowing you to enjoy the benefits of Isotrack no matter what your budget is. The end result is a very stable and efficient pedaling platform with a limitless feel throughout the travel, making the bike ride like it has a lot more travel than it actually does on rough terrain, which is perfect for trail riding. The beauty of the Isotrack system is that it maintains a nearly linear feel throughout the stroke, meaning that there's very little variation as you journey through the travel, which you can see in the graph. The leverage ratio is much smaller in comparison to the Quad 3, starting at below 3.2 to 1 and ending at around 2.2 to 1. So the even bigger advantage of the Isotrack system is our ability to custom tune the rear shocks specifically for the unique characteristics of how the Isotrack suspension platform is built. Since there's no rear pivot and the chain stays and seat stays are flexing minimally, there's an inherent amount of spring rate that's built into the rear triangle that we can use to our advantage. So what we do is we use a little bit lighter tune on the initial part of the shock stroke, and the frame is actually handling that first part, which gives it a great small bump sensitivity. Then due to the linear nature of the suspension curve, we add a little bit of additional damping into the shock to assist with fighting the bottom out as the bike cycles through the travel. These attributes combine to give the bike a really efficient feel for climbing and a limitless feel over bumps, which makes the bike feel like it has a lot more travel than it actually does. Like we talked about earlier, axle path's a very important factor when you're designing a full suspension bike because it dictates how the bike is going to perform over bumps. We prefer a forward-moving axle path on our designs since the axle and rear wheel will be assisted up and over bumps as quickly as possible, rather than the wheel being stuck on the object for too long, which causes a really harsh ride feel, and also forces you to lose forward momentum. So the Isotrack axle path moves backwards slightly less during the initial part of the stroke as compared to the Quad 3. So as for some Isotrack tuning tips, like we talked about before, since the frame provides a little bit of spring support on the initial part of the stroke from the flexing stays, it's important to set the bike with more sag than you're probably used to putting. We found that the bike performs best with about 28 to 30% sag based on a fully kitted rider weight, so you with all of your gear on. So play around with the setting to see what feels best for you. If the bike feels a little bit over damped or like it's just pretty harsh over bumps, it's probably got too little sag. So what you want to do is increase the amount of sag, speed up your rebound, and then take the bike for a ride to see how that feels. And don't forget, ride Marin, rawr!